Hello, we are from Vietnam.
It's glad for us to be here today as representatives of Hanoi University as well as Vietnam to bring you a topic on the theme sustainable tourism. And our particular topic is
Impact of COVID-19 on traditional cultures, a story of Tết celebrations in Vietnam.
now let's clarify Tết and its meaning to Vietnamese people's life.
Please take a quick look at these pictures. I hope they can give you some idea about what we're going to talk about. These pictures demonstrate some very distinctive characteristics of Vietnamese Lunar New Year, which is what we call Tết in Vietnamese.
Tết marks the start of spring and the beginning of the Vietnamese New Year celebration. Like Xmas, the West, or Sugashu of Japan, Tết is the time for family. As an agricultural country, the ancient Vietnamese depended a lot on weather, so that's why Tết is in spring, the season of reproduction and development.
And Tết is also the time when Vietnamese people wish for bountiful harvest, affluence, and sufficiency.
However, due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, many traditional customs are fading away, and therefore, today in this presentation, we'll go through the situation of Vietnamese celebration of Tết before and after COVID, and how changes are affecting its sustainability and of the custom. So how was Tết celebrated before COVID? Before COVID hit, that was one of the most amusing and enjoyable events throughout the year, and as being the biggest festival of Vietnamese people, Tết often lasts from 7 to 10 days. Therefore, people from laborers to students is packing their things to return to their hometowns, which causes a shortage and an increase in price by 60% for practically all means of transportation, including automobile, plane, and train. As a result, despite the concerns about work and study, many people still get the tickets for at least a week or even a month in advance to avoid high cost and congested condition. The atmosphere of Tết increasingly thickens when people get ready to make offerings to the kitchen god day, which is a long-standing culture that symbolizes the farewell to all bad things in the old year and to help people welcome a new year of peace and fullness. Since that time, families members essentially just remain at home and they will make bánh chưng. It is a specialty of Tết, and it carries traditional cultural values that endure with time, which requires the cooperation of all families members, from washing leaves, preparing rice, beans, wrapping cakes, and boiling them. Besides, all family members will join hands in cleaning and decorating the house. They will also shop for Tết goods. And in the last day of the year, people will enjoy the Tết Nguyên meal, which is like the year-end meal in a lunar year.
The first 3 days of Tết and last days of the old year are the special occasion for people to gather, connect, and share after a year of hard labor through family gathering, going around and greeting relatives and friends with the best wishes, giving and receiving lucky money, doing worshipping rituals, and pleasing calligraphy.
During that, a huge or even massive number of people will come to religious places like Temple of Pagoda to pray for a better year ahead, which generally cause an overloaded situation. For example, the 2019 Hương Pagoda Festival Organizing Committee reported that the Hương Pagoda relic welcomed more than 700,000 visitors. Although that was celebrated for only 7 days, Its effect will usually last until the end of the month. Although not being considered as a good culture nowadays, the concept tháng riêng là tháng ăn chơi, which roughly means that the first month of the lunar year is the time for celebration only and nothing else, still passing down through generations.
Okay, so now we move to part 3, trends in post-COVID Tet celebrations. The COVID-19 pandemic left us with uncountable damage, and almost every aspect of life took a hit. And the way we celebrate our long-standing tradition is not an exception. After 2 years of COVID lockdown, many people's health has been gradually deteriorated. And to ensure the safety of their families and also earn extra income, which increased 3 times than during the Tet holiday, as you can see on the screen, many people choose not to return their home, but rather stay at the big city to work during the Tet. And in addition to the weakenings of their health as well as the economy, the development of internet and also digitalizations in the context of COVID has made many traditional ceremonies has transferred to the online form, like giving lucky monies or calling videos or watching religious activities, as well as shopping online. But the decline of traditional ceremony, as well as the need to return home during the Tet holiday, has been increased the travel during this time. And Vietnam had received a florid tourism season during Tet. Regarding the inbound tourism, there has been an increase in short travel from 3 to 4 days of nuclear families and single couples. And outbound tourism combine cultural experience to the country that celebrate Lunar New Year's like Singapore, Bali or Malaysia has increased. The above countries are all heavily influenced by the Chinese cultures, as the immigrant population from China make up a significant role in the total populations of the country. And the main reason for the increase of tourists during this time mostly is because of the tourist stimulate policies of the government in order to restore the economics in general and also the tourism industry in particular. And it seems that because of the lockdown during the COVID, people are unable to travel. Thus, people tend to take advantage of the Tet holiday to actualize their travel plans. The first impact of COVID-19 pandemic was on the disappearance or abolition of some unsuitable cultural traditions, such as the gay firework or lifting the custom. So those traditional customs has been stand for more than 1,000 years, but no longer appropriate during the modern living. And for example, the fertility belief has now been transferred to an impolite method of sexual expressions. The elimination is not only happen with the big festival, but also in the small family rituals, ceremonies. As in the nature, Tet is the chance for people to gathering and get together, but putting emphasis on the rituals such as having a banquet during the Tet holiday become a burden. And so the chance of simplifying the worshipping procedure during the Tet holiday is becoming more dominant. Okay, so now we move to the last part. Impact of those changes on the sustainability of the event. The more modern life is, the more everything changes. That is now different from the past, and many old customs are gone, and many new ones are come. Although it is not necessary that although change caused by COVID is negative, they do mean that we do not do the right thing to preserve the sustainability of one of the most valued events of the nations. So when Tet comes, it is important that the feelings of work with families and the joy of reunions of family members will remain in our mind. And as long as we ourselves can create a warm happiness with our families. Therefore, we believe that the way to preserve the culture's identity of the Tet holiday is not always necessary to stays at home, but rather than in its person heart, and always worshipping the ancestor and taking taking care of the loved one, and most important things is to preserve some nature holiday ritual so that the traditional culture's values are not going to lose. Alright, it's bringing us to the end of our presentation. We hope that after this you will have an overview of our traditional Tet celebrations and also our concerns when it comes to the sustainability of this event.
Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask.